Range of motion definition is the arc of motion in the crease between beginning and end of the motion in a specific plane. Therapeutic goniometry is the measurement of angles created at human joints by the bones of the body using a goniometer. Equipments of measurements range of motion are goniometer, photographs, X-ray, mobile phone apps, measuring tapes. Types of goniometers are universal goniometer, gravity-dependent goniometers, and electrogoniometers. Gravity-dependent goniometers also can be divided into fluid goniometer, inclinometer, and pendulum goniometer. There are three parts in universal goniometers: body, stable arm, and movable arm. Body full or half circle protector. In the middle of the body axis, a fulcrum screw presents which connect the stable and movable arms. Stable arms doesn't have any motion, aligning with the proximal segment of the joint. Movable arm align with the distal segment of the measuring joints. Uses of goniometry determine the presence or absence of dysfunctioning, stabilizing the diagnosis, developing a treatment goal, evaluation, progress or lack of progress, modifying the treatment, motivation the subject, education, orthotic and adaptive equipments. Notation systems to define range of motion: 1 to 0 to 180 degree system, 180 to 0 degree system, 360 degree system. Enfield, the feeling which is experienced by the examiner as a barrier to further motion is called enfield. It is described under two categories: physiological enfield, pathological enfield. Factors affecting the joint range of motion: soft tissue tightness, adhesion formation, injuries or inflammation around the joint, nervous system, muscle bulk, sex and age. Procedure: the part of the body being examined should be exposed. Patient should be in the relaxed position and the joint to be measured should be free from obstruction like pillow cork. Just which is to be measured has to be zero position. Total procedure has to be explained to the patient. Therapist has to stand near the patient as facing the joint which is to be measured. Axis fulcrum of the goniometer is placed over the axis of the joint to be measured. Stable arm is fixed with the proximal joint segment. Movable arm fixed with the distal segment of the joint. Therapist has to move the distal segment of the joint with the movable arm of the goniometer to measure the range of motion. Position of the patient: the joint structure has to be is relaxed position. Joint should be in zero or starting position. Complete range of motion has to be permitted. Proximal joint has to be fixed or stabilized.
To measure range of motion of the shoulder flexion and extension, goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the lateral aspect of the greater tubercle. Align proximal arm parallel to the mid-axillary line of thorax. Align distal arm with the lateral midline of the humerus. Depending on how much flexion and rotation occurs, the lateral epicondyle of the humerus or the olecranon process of the ulna may be helpful references. To measure range of motion of the shoulder abduction, goniometry alignments are central fulcrum of the goniometer close to the anterior aspect of the acromial process. Align proximal arm so that is parallel to the midline of the anterior aspect of sternum. Align distal arm with the anterior midline of the humerus. To measure range of motion of the shoulder abduction and adduction, goniometry alignments are central fulcrum of the goniometer over the olecranon process. Align proximal arm so that is either perpendicular to or parallel with the floor. Align distal arm with the ulna using the olecranon process and ulnar styloid for reference. To measure range of motion of the elbow flexion, goniometry alignments are central fulcrum of the goniometer over the lateral epicondyle of the humerus and align proximal arm with the lateral midline of the humerus using the center of the acromial process for reference. Align distal arm with the lateral midline of the radius using the radial head and radial styloid process for reference. In here you can get some idea about how to measure range of motion of the forearm pronation and supination. In here, goniometry alignments, central fulcrum of the goniometer lateral and proximally to the ulnar styloid process. Align proximal arm parallel to the anterior midline of the humerus. Place distal arm across the dorsal surface of the forearm, just proximal to the styloid process of the radius and ulna, where the forearm is most level and free of the muscle bulk. The distal arm of the goniometer should be parallel to the styloid process of the radius and ulna. Center fulcrum on the lateral aspect of the wrist over the tricutum. Align proximal arm with the lateral midline of the ulna using the olecranon and ulnar styloid process for reference. Align distal arm with the lateral midline of the fifth metacarpal. This is how to measure range of motion of the wrist flexion and extension. This is goniometry alignments. To measure range of motion of the radial deviation and ulnar deviation, goniometry alignments are central fulcrum on the dorsal aspect of the wrist over the capitate. Align proximal arm with the dorsal midline of the forearm. Align distal arm with the dorsal midline of the third metacarpal. Do not use third phalanx for reference. Let's discuss about how to measure range of motion of hip flexion and hip extension. This here goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the lateral aspect of the hip joint using greater trochanter of the femur for reference. Align proximal arm with the lateral midline of the pelvis. Align distal arm with the lateral midline of the femur using the lateral epicondyle as a reference. Goniometry alignments will measure hip abduction and adduction. Center fulcrum of the goniometer over the anterior superior iliac spine of the extremity being measured. Align proximal arm with an imaginary horizontal line extending from one ASIS to the other. Align distal arm with the anterior midline of the femur using midline of the patella for reference. Measure range of motion of the hip medial rotation and hip lateral rotation. Goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the anterior aspect of the patella. Align proximal arm so that is perpendicular to the floor or parallel to the supporting surface. Goniometer with a level attached to the proximal arm are helpful for novices. Align distal arm with the anterior midline of the lower leg using the crest of the tibia and a point midway between the two malleoli for reference. Measure range of motion of the knee flexion and knee extension by using a goniometer. Goniometer alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the lateral epicondyle of the femur. Align proximal arm with the lateral midline of the femur using greater trochanter for reference. Align distal arm with the lateral midline of the fibula using the lateral malleolus and fibular head for reference. Measure range of motion of the ankle dorsiflexion and ankle plantar flexion. Goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the lateral aspect of the lateral malleolus. Align proximal arm with the lateral midline of the fibula using the head of the fibula for reference. Align distal arm parallel to the lateral aspect of the fifth metatarsal, although it is usually easier. Shall we discuss about how to measure range of motion of the tarsal eversion and tarsal inversion. Goniometry alignments are center of the fulcrum of the goniometer over the anterior aspect of the ankle midway between the malleoli. Align proximal arm of the goniometer with the anterior midline of the lower leg using the tibial tuberosity for reference. Align distal arm with the anterior midline of the second metatarsal. Center fulcrum of the goniometer over the posterior aspect of the ankle midway between malleoli. Align proximal arm with the posterior midline of the lower leg. Align distal arm with the posterior midline of the calcaneus. This is how to measure range of motion of the substellar inversion and substellar eversion. Metatarsophalangeal joint flexion and metatarsophalangeal joint extension. Range of motion. Goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the dorsal aspect of the MTP joint. Align proximal arm over the dorsal midline of the metatarsal. Align distal arm over the dorsal midline of the proximal phalanx. Measure range of motion of the metatarsophalangeal joint abduction and adduction. Goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the dorsal aspect of the MTP joint. Align proximal arm with the dorsal midline of the metatarsal. Align distal arm with the dorsal midline of the proximal phalanx. Here we are going to talk about how to measure range of motion of the cervical extension and cervical flexion. Goniometry alignments are center fulcrum of the goniometer over the external ordinary meatus. Align proximal arm so that is either perpendicular or parallel to the ground. Align distal arm with the base of nares. In the cervical lateral flexion, goniometry alignments center fulcrum of the goniometer over the spinous process of the C7 vertebrae. Align proximal arm with the spinous process of the thoracic vertebrae so that the arm is perpendicular to the ground. Align distal arm with the dorsal midline of the head using the occipital protuberance for reference. How to measure thoracolumbar flexion and extension by using a tape. How to measure thoracolumbar lateral flexion by using a tape. This is how to measure lumbar extension by using a tape.